840 Newstalk Sauga 960 Raw, Mike Richards, along with David Bastl. And we've been talking about what we've been wearing here this morning. Now, you're going to see this on Twitter later today. You're going to see some interviews, obviously, with a lot of people, including Brad May. And then you're going to see some pictures of what Dave and I are wearing. And whenever stuff like this happens, it's always like, okay, where do we get these? Like, how did you get them? Where did they come from? This happens to be at a time where Father's Day is just around the corner, and you're always trying to look for something a little different for Dad, right? Because it's like, oh, look, it's in the day, oh, belt, oh, dads get perennially ripped off. It's like, here, I'm gonna mow the lawn. See, that was, oh, look, I mowed. Yeah, you should be. You're the kid. But no, fathers are like, okay, here's some aftershave that you got from like Avon or Walmart. Sorry, Walmart, but I'm just saying, what do you get for your dad that says kind of who he is? What's special? Well, Mitch is going to join us here from the Beaudry family. The company's called Hockey Artwork, and we are wearing T-shirts, as you'll see, as I said later on today. When Dave told me, he said, look, I'm going to get you kind of a special T-shirt. I'm going to have to ask a question. I think I know that the answer is, but if you got a black T-shirt, which as people know over the last, 30 years, tends to be a bit of a staple for me. If there was a hockey design on it, would the Mike Palmateer mask be something you would get? Yeah. Considering I idolized him like most of us of my age in Toronto who want to be Mike Palmateer, who want to have the mask. That's what I'm wearing, and the design of it is done by Mitch's dad. And Dave, what are you wearing here today?
That's my Blake Wheeler Winnipeg Jet shirt, which Mitch, who we're going to talk to in about 2 seconds, surprised the out of me, because I'm looking at his site and he has some of the awesome goaltending masks that, the Drydens and the Rogie Vachons, the John Davidsons, Jerry Cheevers, but Mike Palmateers. And then Mitch, you surprised me with this. Welcome to the show, first off. We love your website.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, a lot of people might think, okay, so, why don't we do this? Well, if everyone did, this wouldn't be so unique. But it is unique. In fact, I believe your dad, Mark, Palmy actually signed this, correct?
He signed prints. So we have signed edition prints by Mike Palmateer himself. Yeah.
So where does this come from? Why? I mean, to make a leap of faith, people are like, oh, okay, yeah, T-shirts. But these are incredibly unique. And the graphic, right? So these masks that we talk about, these things that we're wearing on our T-shirt, they're fabulous. So what is the background? How do you come to this idea?
So my dad actually started it all. He has been a graphic designer and artist for over 30 years. He's done things like the Esplanade Beer Market, Jack Astor's, a lot of brands like that. And then when the beginning of the pandemic happened, he wanted to transition himself to more artwork that he is more passionate about. Not that he's not passionate about restaurants, but so hockey is one of his big passions, and I'm actually in his office right now, so you can see the hockey artwork and different memorabilia behind me. And he wanted to express that onto the shirts. And he grew up in the 70s where Ken Dryden for him was a big idol, and he loved watching Mike Palmateer and all those guys, and that's where he started with the Goalie Masks and creating that art there. Yeah.
So how do you two get partnered up? Obviously, father and son is a great combination, especially if you can work together. And clearly you can. So how do you guys decide that, okay, you got the graphic side and Mitch, you're going to take care of all the marketing side of things, put everything down and kind of, it's a great deal. But how do you guys actually say, you know what, let's do this?
Honestly, it was all his impetus. He kind of wanted to drive it forward and ask for my help, and I thought it was a great idea because I thought the art was awesome. I thought it was really unique and something that I hadn't seen a lot of on different T-shirts or prints or anything like that. Most hockey stuff I find is very logo-centric or very a recreation design or recreation drawing of an event, and nothing really artistic like this. So I just said, yeah, let's do this, and we've started up about 3 months ago.
You know, when it comes to, and one of the, like, even if it's a segment, when we start talking goalie masks, it just takes off, right? It's a thing, guys, in this country, even when they're not goalies. Like I'm a former goalie, so there's a connection to this. But who doesn't want to talk about it? Because everyone has their favorite, era. And so, for instance, growing up a Maple Leaf fan, you know, Ken Dryden was not my favorite person. He wasn't even my favorite person when he was the goalie for Team Canada. I was like, get him out of the net. We're gonna lose the series because of stupid Ken Dryden. But his masks, including the one that so the first one I liked, right? So the first time he comes into the league with just the white, and it just had a different style. I have to admit, that was an exceptionally cool mask, especially for a time when goalies weren't that tall. And he was, and putting his glove on top of everything was just sort of there. When he goes to what I call the clown mask, which I do that on purpose because I have friends who are Montreal Canadian fans, and I have to talk about it. And then I'll usually open up with something like, you know, that Ken Dryden really wasn't very good. That's normally my opener. Then we start talking about the clown mask. But if people can see what your dad did, it's just behind you. It looks fantastic, right? I mean, it is that recognizable thing that, guys, I don't have to explain who that is. You don't have to explain generally who wore that goalie mask. Guys know. And so I think for Father's Day, I don't know how it could be any better than this. You know, your dad and what you put into this, the goalie mask thing. I mean, from a marketing perspective, I don't know if you could have picked something better, more iconic.
No, it really is like the iconic hockey imagery, especially for guys who grew up in that era and saw those players. Because, yeah, you're absolutely right. What's interesting about that time, of course, is each goalie mask was designed by the goaltender, usually by themselves. So they're all unique. Like, we have a Jerry Cheevers one with the scars on it. That's such an iconic one. The Jim Rutherford with the eyebrows, I like to call it, with the Red Wings. Like, it definitely is striking. And I've been wearing the t-shirts around. Like, I'm a fan of a particular team, but I'll wear each t-shirt around just to sort of promote it. And the comments I get are always sort of surprising to me that people really like latch on and say, oh wow, that's awesome. I haven't seen something like that before.
Yeah. So the name of the site, because I'm already getting a lot of different texts, tweets on this, it's HockeyArtWork.ca. T-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, hoodies. I know there's posters and different artworks, accessories and stuff like that. I want to talk about your relationship with Mike Palmateer, because you mentioned it during commercial break with us, that he signed a number of things. How exciting is that? Just from a perspective of having one of the Leaf greats kind of partner up with you guys on a number of different things.
That was really surprising. That came about because someone on Facebook actually reached out to my dad, had seen the Palmateer design and said, hey, I'm actually getting some autograph done by Palmateer. Would you like me to see if he would like to sign the print? And Palmateer turned out loved the print. He loved the design and signed a limited run of editions for us. And he apparently was a big fan. We were stoked to hear that, because that's there's no bigger validation than from the goalie themselves saying they like the artwork. For sure.
Well, yeah, and you'll be down one when the show's over, because I'm getting one. I saw how many. I'm like, okay, no more people. Nobody. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. That is very exclusive. I mean, and when we say limited edition, it is limited edition, and to me, I think it's of tremendous value. I really do. So. I will be doing that immediately upon this show being over. So you're in the St. Catharines area?
Yes.
Is that correct? So depending on how this goes, I mean, it's a business thing. And so let's say you sell out and blah, blah, blah. Expansion would mean what? Or do you not do that? Do you go to other goalie masks? Do you start doing, I don't know, CFL players, something exclusive that, for instance, the reason I say CFL is because Dave and I are both CFL fans. it's hard to find. Sometimes you find a niche where you know that audience. So in Canada, coast to coast, the CFL is like a religion. Yeah, it's not the NFL, it's not the NHL, but you're more than likely, if you put Dave, if you put something that's got a Saskatchewan Roughrider on it in the province of Saskatchewan, you better make a lot of those things because it's gone. If you put Ron Lancaster on one of these things, like who would you say in the CFL? If I'm talking Saskatchewan now, because they buy anything that's got the colors on it. Who's the most iconic? Who comes to mind?
Yeah, that
first?
would be it. Ron Lancaster. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you go through that kind of process when you think about it, or is that beyond what you want to do?
That's beyond right now, although that is something I could definitely see potentially in the future. The next series that we're doing is the Canadian captains. So that's where we have a Blake Wheeler print. We have a Shea Weber print up right now. Yeah. Ottawa, of course, is going to be a little tricky because they don't have a captain at the moment. But aside from that, that's our next foray. But we're in discussions of the whole different types of different art that we want to sort of represent. But hockey is the focus right now. But I could see something in the CFL. We're Ticats fans ourselves.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, you give me a Chuck Ely, Angela Mosca, Garney Henley. Oh, you give me one of those, and I'm telling you, you just got 4 more sales from this household.
No, it's tremendous, and yeah, Mike kind of hit it on the head. As far as the goalie masks, there's an endless supply of goalie masks that you guys can kind of dig into. Would you ever consider now? This is kind of weird because of course, from a Jets perspective, if somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, can you make this mask?" Would that be something that you guys would consider, or is it all about kind of you guys are setting your own foundation and you'll kind of take it step by step?
Oh, we would definitely be open to it. I mean, as long as they weren't looking for something exclusive. If it was a mask, like someone wanted a Hellebuck mask, for example, we would definitely do the design like that for that customer, but also to make it more widely produced. But no, we would be open to anything. Jets, any team in the league, even the Coyotes. Sure. We would be open to. There's not any team we would turn down.
No, it's outstanding. Really,
perhaps your favorite morning show personalities. Like you just don't know where this could end. It could, Well, Mitch, great having you on the show today. Love the product, obviously. As I said, this will be out pretty heavy on Twitter today, and I imagine pretty incredible response. Especially, you start talking about Palmateer, I get buried. I get absolutely buried in this stuff, and for good reason. But none of this works though if the artwork isn't unique, interesting, and excellent. Like there's a lot of great artists out there. There's a lot of people, I guess, who probably think that they could put something on a T-shirt and be excellent, but it like sometimes it's just that the stars align. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic product, but it works because the graphics are unique. I would get why a restaurant would hire your dad. Just looking at this, I'm like, well, who did that? Like, how art is. Mm-hmm. It's how art always has worked, which is someone goes to a gallery or someone goes somewhere and someone goes, who did that? That essentially is how art works. Someone sees that T-shirt as you're walking down Niagara-on-the-Lake or somewhere in St. Catharines. There's no way you're wearing one of these shirts and someone's not going, hey, where'd you get that? I imagine that probably happens every time you put one of these on. So I think this thing is going to be immensely popular. And for Father's Day, I just don't think you could get a better gift because, every dad's going to have something that you guys have that he's going to want. So thanks so much for this morning. Appreciate the time. I'm sure we'll talk again. And thank you so much for the shirts because they're awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
That is
HockeyArtist.ca to order. So check that out. Artwork.ca. I know there's some promotions going on the site too. So check that out. We'll tag that on everything as well, Mike. So
yeah, except for one of the products. Stay away from that. Sold out. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Or Mitch.
Or Mitch. Sorry. Mitch, Mark, or whatever the last name happens to be, whoever you're talking to, sometimes that changes as well.
You're confusing us this morning.
That's right. So Mitch is who we were talking to. Obviously, Mark is dad doing the artwork. Hockey Artwork is available. Again, go to the website, and it is your Father's Day one stop. You want the pressure off? Just go there, and
Yeah.
and sold. We're gonna do traffic one more time before we leave you. It's 8:55. Here's Dave.
Mike, I have received in the course of the last 15 minutes 17 tweets, including my buddy Paul from Energy Heating and Cooling, who is more than interested in this. So big shout out to everybody that joined us on the chat, and definitely check this out once you do get a chance on the website itself. So HockeyArtWork.ca. 401 both directions look pretty good. Eastbound, westbound lanes moving decently this morning, having no problems as well. 410 Brampton looks pretty good. QEW through Oakville into Mississauga running smoothly after a little bit of a buildup near Trafalgar Road. There was a little bit of a jam earlier. It's cleared up a little bit, but we're still seeing some slowdowns in and around that area. 24 degrees Celsius here in the city, going up to a daytime high of 30. We are expecting thunder showers this afternoon. They say 40% chance around 2 o'clock this afternoon. We shall see. Perhaps it doesn't happen necessarily, so hopefully it does avoid us, but there is the chance of it today, Mike.
I'd like to thank everyone who joined us on the show this morning. Our good friend Maxwell Smart, his cupcake bets. They'll be out later today, too. They are hitting props. He's done very well with that. We'll get those out there. Our very good friend, Brad May. So Molson Canadian has the Molson Canadian Stanley Cup batch. Kissed by the cup, they're calling it. That was so nice to catch up with Brad, see how he's doing. Always one of the great guys. And you just heard from Mitch Beaudry from Hockey Artwork. Go to HockeyArtWork.ca and just get a load of the stuff you can get. I'm telling you, when you start buying, you may not stop.